With turbulent markets and even more tumultuous times, just over half of the 234 women on the new Forbes list of the world's billionaires are worth less than a year ago. Welcome to Watchzilla. Today, here are the top 10 richest women in the world. Forbes used stock prices and exchange rates from March 18, 2020, to calculate the net worths. As a group, the women on the list are worth $927.4 billion. Despite the recent economic instability, they are collectively $29.4 billion richer than last year. Number 10, Gina Rinehart. Rinehart, Australia's richest person, built her fortune on iron ore. The daughter of high-profile iron ore explorer Lang Hancock, she's chaired mining and agriculture company Hancock Prospecting Group since 1992. Upon her father's death, she inherited a 76.6% share of the business. In 2010, Gina expanded the company into television, newspaper and agriculture. The biggest piece of her fortune came from the Roy Hill mining project, which started shipments to Asia in 2015. Also, the mining magnate is Australia's third-largest cattle producer, with a portfolio of properties across the country. Rinehart's fortune declined by $2 billion in the past year as the coronavirus pandemic pushed down values in the iron ore industry. Number 9, Zhonghuan. Zhonghuan, 59, chairs Chinese drug maker Hansoh Pharmaceutical in 1995, which produces oncology, psychoactive, anti-diabetic and other drugs. The stock rose 10% from early January through mid-March, when coronavirus was most prevalent in her home country. The former chemistry teacher is the richest self-made woman in the whole of Asia. Zhong is married to Sun Piaoyang, the billionaire chairman of Jiangsu Hengrui Medicine. She owns over three-quarters of Hansoh Pharmaceutical with their daughter, Sun Yuan. Hansoh Pharmaceutical headquarters is located in the Chinese coastal city of Lianyungang. Hansoh went public on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange in June 2019. Number 8, Laurene Powell Jobs. The widow of late Apple co-founder Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs died in 2011, Laurene inherited a 7.3% stake in Disney, worth an estimated $11.1 billion, and 38.5 million shares in Apple. Since then, the 55-year-old has gone to invest some of the money in journalism, taking a majority stake in The Atlantic magazine, as well as investing in a non-profit publications Mother Jones and ProPublica. She also bought a minority stake in 2017 in the parent of the NBA's Washington Wizards and the NHL's Washington Capitals. In 1997, she co-founded and became president of College Track, a foundation that helps prepare disadvantaged kids for college. Powell Jobs also heads Emerson Collective, a hybrid philanthropic and investing limited liability company she founded in the second half of 2016 that advocates for social reform in the United States. Speaking about her wealth, Powell Jobs told the New York Times in February, "I'm not interested in legacy wealth buildings, and my children know that. Steve wasn't interested in that. If I live long enough, it ends with me." In May 2018, Ms. Powell Jobs spent $16.8 million on a six-bedroom San Francisco mansion with views of the Golden Gate Bridge. Her fortune is down $2.2 billion from last year in part due to a decline in Disney's share price. On April 2, Apple announced the formation of the America's Food Fund, an effort from Emerson Collective, Apple, and the Ford Foundation to provide $12 million in funding to beneficiaries like World Central Kitchen and Feeding America to provide assistance to people impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. Number 7, Suzanne Clatton. The 56-year-old German has a mixture of cars and pharmaceuticals to thank for her wealth. An heir to carmaker BMW, Clatton has seen her net worth tumble 20% in the past year. As car sales slowed amid the pandemic, BMW's stock fell 24% in the first half of March. Her late mother, Johanna, was the third wife of the legendary industrialist Herbert Quandt. He guided BMW to preeminence in the luxury market. Clatton is also the sole owner and deputy chairman of Altana and is currently the richest woman in Germany. Suzanne Clatton is an economist with an MBA. She helped transform her grandfather's Altana into a world-class pharmaceutical specialty chemical corporation. She also buys stakes in a number of other companies, from wind power Nordex to graphite producer SGL Group. BMW announced this week that they would start producing face masks to stem the spread of COVID-19 and would be able to produce several 100,000 masks per day. Number 6, Yang Yuyun. The 38-year-old Yang made her fortune as a property developer. The country garden has ridden the wave of China's building boom. She owns 57% stake and sits on the board of Hong Kong-listed real estate developer Country Garden, which her father founded and chairs. Her young sister Ziyang also sits on Country Garden's board. She also chairs Bright Scholar Education Holdings, which is a Chinese education company that went public on the New York Stock Exchange in 2007. She holds a degree from Ohio State University. In response to the coronavirus pandemic, the company set up robotic automated food serving stations in Wuhan, where the virus originated, to feed Chinese medical workers. Number 5. Jacqueline Mars. Jacqueline Mars is the granddaughter of Frank C. Mars, who founded the company in 1911, worked for the company for nearly 20 years, and served on the board until 2016. Mars and her brother, John, each inherited one-third of the $35 billion sales candy company known for M&Ms and Milky Way bars. The 79-year-old owns a third of Mars, the world's largest confectioner. Now, she is described as a philanthropist, sitting on boards for the Washington National Opera and the National Archives, among others. Her late brother Forrest Jr. has 4 daughters who own the rest of Mars, which also has a large pet food and vet care business. The chairman of Mars' board of directors is her son Stephen Badger. Mars has committed $20 million in cash and in-kind donations to support people and pets affected by COVID-19, including a $1 million donation to Humane Society International. Number 4. Mackenzie Bezos. The 48-year-old has 4 children with the Amazon founder, whom she married in 1993 after they met while working together at a hedge fund E. E. Shaw. They married next year and in 1994 moved to Seattle. The Californian was one of Amazon's first employees, having joined as an accountant. She has published 2 well-reviewed fiction books and trained under author Toni Morrison at Princeton, who said she was one of her best-ever students and worked as a research assistant for her. Bezos makes her debut on the list after finalizing her divorce with Jeff Bezos in July 2019. The award-winning novelist received at least $35 million, or a quarter of her ex-husband's shares in the e-commerce giant. Ms. Bezos, who was born Mackenzie Tuttle, has been the director of the anti-bullying company she founded, Bystander Revolution, since 2014, which encourages the simple habits of kindness, courage, and inclusion. Mackenzie signed the Giving Pledge, promising to give away at least half of her fortune, in May 2019. Jeff Bezos is donating $100 million to more than 200 U.S. food banks via Chicago-based Feeding America to help feed people affected by the pandemic. Number 3. Julia Koch. New to this year's list, Julia Koch, 57, joined the billionaire ranks after she and her 3 children inherited a 42% stake in Koch Industries from her husband, David, who died in August 2019 at age 79. The company is a huge North American multinational with subsidiaries in oil manufacturing, minerals, fertilizers and ranching. A native Iowan, Koch moved to New York City in the 1980s and worked as an assistant to fashion designer Adolfo. She also worked with several high-profile clients, including First Lady Nancy Reagan. In 1991, Julia met David and got married in 1996. She, with her husband, has donated $10 million to Mount Sinai Medical Center and $10 million to Stanford's Children's Hospital to study food allergies. Koch and its Stand Together community, the Family Independence Initiative, have raised more than $19 million through the hashtag #GiveTogetherNow initiative to provide direct cash assistance to families impacted by COVID-19. Several other Koch industry businesses, including Georgia Pacific, also have made contributions. Number 2. Francoise Bettencourt Meyers. Francoise Bettencourt Meyers, 66, the granddaughter of L'Oreal founder Eugene Schuler, became France's reigning L'Oreal heiress in 2017 after her mother Liliane Bettencourt, the world's richest woman, died at age 94, leaving the full fortune of the company to Francoise. The two had been estranged and entered into a long dispute in 2007. Ms. Bettencourt Meyers filed a lawsuit over concerns that her mother was being exploited by members of her entourage amid declining health. But they reconciled in the year before her mother's death. Ms. Bettencourt Meyers is also an academic and has published books on Greek gods and Jewish-Christian relations. She has served on the board of the company since 1997 and is also the president of the chairperson of the family's philanthropic organization, which is involved in promoting French arts and sciences. She was the world's richest woman. Bettencourt Meyers' fortune has declined $400 million since last year's list amid the coronavirus pandemic, as shares of the cosmetics giant dropped 12% in the first 2 weeks of March. To support coronavirus efforts, L'Oreal's USA division is donating $250,000 to Feeding America and matching additional employee donations of up to $25,000, manufacturing hand sanitizers that will be provided free to employees and healthcare professionals, donating more than $1 million in personal care and hygiene products to feed the children, and donating N95 respirator masks used in some production facilities to hospitals. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Number 1. Alice Walton. Alice Walton, 70, is the only daughter of Walmart founder Sam Walton, reclaims her title this year as the richest woman in the world after losing that spot to L'Oreal heiress Francoise Bettencourt Meyers in 2019. Despite recent market turbulence, Walton has seen her fortune increase 23% since last year to $53.2 billion, making her the ninth richest person in the world and the wealthiest woman on the planet. However, unlike her two brothers, she has moved away from the family company and focused on the arts, becoming the chairman of the Crystal Bridges Museum of American Art in the family's hometown of Bentonville, Arkansas. Walton, who does not have a role at Walmart, is helping to lead a program at the Walton Family Foundation that will issue $300 million in bonds to help charter schools invest in and renovate facilities. Walmart and the Walmart Foundation have committed $25 million to support organizations on the front lines responding to the COVID-19 outbreak. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watchzilla and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.